All right, this is day 12, the 90-day challenge. 99 problems with this ain't one. Hey, listen, today we're going to talk about copywriting, a little bit about what copywriting is as we go on, learn more. As I improve upon my copywriting, I will continue to add posts on here about copywriting. So today, copywriting, if you ever noticed, think about the time. The last time you were listening to someone go over, read a sales letter, watch one of those videos online, or maybe it was just simple as the long blog, not a blog, but a long website where uh, it's just a lot of copy. Copy is that ad that you read on. It's basically like a sales letter. And so you landed on somebody's page, you've opted into some type of information or whatnot, given them your information, your name, your email, and you're just sitting there and you're reading. Shouldn't off reading it first, like you shouldn't have reading it. And it starts getting into it, and you start going along. You start leaning a little forward into it as you're reading along the page, and then somewhere along the line, you start saying to yourself, "Why am I still reading this?" But you keep reading anyway. Even after asking that question, you keep on reading. And then when you start getting towards the end, you wonder yourself, if you haven't looked, if you haven't already looked down at the bottom of the page, you start wondering, how much is this? And it's just like, why did this story, that's what I asked myself, why is this story, this copy, this sales letter, why did it keep my attention? I've been sitting here for the last 10 minutes reading this long continuous scrolling page, just listen while reading everything, reading the testimonials, and we have to reading the story and the different pieces of it, this and pieces of that, and oh, we can do this too, and all this and the hype and so forth. And then it asks in the bottom, it's like, wow, after reading all that, I'm all the way on the keyboard focused. I'm all the way in the screen like that. I went from being here to leaning forward. By the end, I'm all the way in the front, trying to make sure I don't miss anything, as if getting close to the screen to make sure I read it. You know what I mean? But then it's like, and it makes an offer to you. It says, buy this, click here, get access now. Why does that work? It's a question. It's a good question. It's something I've been trying to figure out as we continue to build businesses and work online, using the internet as a way to make some money, as a way to get a message out if you're a nonprofit or something of that nature. However, for the most part, at the end of that, it makes an offer that you want to buy now. No matter how they word it, it's buy now. And you start thinking to yourself, how do I come up with the money to pay for this? That's if you don't have it already. But I mean, it gets to the bottom and it says it's only $25. There's times when I was like, how do I get to $25? I'd ask moms, I'd ask dad, I'd ask my sister, whatever, friends, family. It's $25. Now when you get to an offer and it seems so good, it seems so right, and you see so many testimonials, and you get to the end and they ask you for $25, and you're trying to figure out how to get to $25 because you don't have $25. It's probably a good reason for you to go ahead and pay that $25 and figure out what do they know that you don't know. That's the beauty of a great sales letter, of writing great copy. You have been taken through a journey, and that journey has to deal with a bunch of different levels of psychology. We're talking about engaging different senses. We're talking about taking a person through taking the reader through the whole buying process through a letter without ever having to show put any product to anybody, without having to actually be there face to face with them. And we're speaking about the internet, which means you have to elevate your writing. It doesn't mean that you have to be the best writer. I'll put it this way. One of the best books that got me, and one of the best books I recommend for everybody to read, if you have not read it yet, is by Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Now, if you really think about Rich Dad, Poor Dad, It's one of the reasons why he took off. That original book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, started the company. It's a long sales letter for how he believes people are for how he believes people should learn about financial education or the lack thereof in modern uh, the modern schooling system, education system. Should be some changes. So if you really analyze the book, something like that, he doesn't write the best. Really, his grammar's not that good or anything of that nature. However, he was effective because he made you take you through the emotions. He made you feel this way, feel that way. You could visualize being in the areas that he's been through. Now I'm gonna get into tomorrow on day 13. We're gonna go into more of some of the details, specifics of how to create an effective copy. But right now, we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna give you three things to help you figure out how to become better at copywriting on your own, how to practice. That's what we're talking about. So here are the three things. First, you need to handwrite out some sales letters that have affected you. So if you've gone to come across some sales letters, which of course you probably have, if you've been on the internet for any amount of time, you've come across these sales letters, or maybe it's even an email that's come through that has made you think, oh, I need to get that. What I want you to do is start handwriting out some of those. Now, I'm not saying type it up. Now, you can type it out if you want to, but I'll tell you about it. You can type it out if you want to. But to be the most effective of what I'm saying, you need to handwrite it. There's more to that whole handwriting and portion of physically using your hand seeing what you're writing down, thinking about what you're doing. That whole process of handwriting engages more of your brain so that you can actually analyze what you're doing as you're going about writing it out. And you're asking yourself, at the end, you'll have more process, more of what happened during that whole sales letter as you read it, why it affected you, if you go ahead and write it out by hand. Number two, I want you to read some books on copywriting. I mean, one of the best ways to do it. Read some books or watch some videos, whatnot, but read some books on copywriting. I would suggest anything by my man Dan Kennedy. Dan Kennedy writes some good books on copywriting. He's been doing it for like 40 years. Okay, 40 years. As of 2013, 40 years. He has a whole series called the BS series, No BS series, and he's a wild dude. He speaks exactly how he wants to speak. Another great guy who speaks the way he wants to speak is John Carlton. John Carlton's courses on freelance copywriting. A simple system for writing. I can't think. I think that's the name. I think that's the name of it actually. Simple system. Simple system something other. John Carlton is his name. Find both of those. Now, here is the holy grail, if you will, on the whole sales writing direct mail campaign writing process. And this is the two classics. Both of them are by Claude Hopkins. Hopkin as in Nancy S. Claude Hopkins. They're called My Life in Advertising. My Life in Advertising. The other book is Scientific Advertising. Both of these books is by Claude Hopkins go through his process of moving along through his advertising career. That's what we're doing in internet marketing, of course, is we're continuing to learn how to advertise our businesses, advertise our website, advertise our offers. And one of the best ways of learning that is understanding the mindset behind some of the greatest advertising that's ever come along. And also, like it's suggested in scientific advertising, learning how to track that process. I'm not telling you have to do this in the very beginning, is learn how to do the tracking process. Right now, you may not need to worry about that, but it's good information to know that you're doing things for a reason. It's a good understanding to know that when you're looking for a course on how to build a campaign for your website, that you understand what they mean, what the gurus are saying about the tracking process, so that as you learn more, you'll start figuring out, well, I just did this. This one over this website over here is working better than this one over here, or this ad over here is working better than that one. That's the scientific advertising part. You're trying to figure out what little tweaks you make on a daily basis to your writing, to your copy, to your emails, to your Facebook ads, to your Google ads, or whatever ads you're using, advertising you're specializing in. I do recommend specializing in one of them for the beginning. That you go through that process of tweaking until you figure out what it is the best product that's giving you the most production, they're giving you the most sales, okay, the most leads, or the most click-throughs. Third thing I want you to do, the handwriting. Okay, handwriting's first. Handwriting out some things. You're going to read those books also. Third thing I want you to do is make sure you practice on telling your story. Make sure you practice on telling your story. It's a very, very key thing is for you to understand your own story, how powerful it is. Your story is unique to you. And here's the thing. Here's how unique your story. Here's if you want to put it in perspective. Your story is so unique to you that by changing your life, the process of telling people how you're changing your life will affect other people. It gives them permission to succeed themselves. There's going to be nobody can exactly sympathize necessarily with you because your story is unique to you, but they can empathize. And in that empathy, people start liking you. Because telling your story, people start knowing you. And as you continue to tell your story and provide them with this valuable information, people start trusting you. This is the process, what we're doing. So good practice telling your story in a written format, the art of storytelling. Or maybe even if it's in visual, you're using the visual programs such as YouTube or media, do things like that. Learn how to tell your story verbally. Be able to engage people into your story through the words that you use. All right. So that's the last thing we're going to say for today. We're going to end this up. One more thing. So you've heard that before, haven't you? One last caveat of learning to write effective copy. One last caveat is that you can use this skill to sell anything to anyone using sales letters, emails, or posts to your blogs or on social media. That's the power of learning this skill. Now, people buy from people, as I said, from people they know, they like, and trust. So get good at telling that story. Learn about how to figure out what your, the best sales copy is. That's another thing. Make sure you start writing down some of the things that I said. Writing down the only way you're going to write down some of the sales that you find is that you start keeping them or printing them out or copying them. So you got to start doing that also and write them out. I do have personally myself. I have a lot of them, about 300 or so different sales letters, and some course I bought. But you don't have to get that course right now if you can't afford it. Just go ahead and start finding copy that you like that's been effective to you and start handwriting it out and keep reading. There's such a beauty to being able to do this that people will start telling you, I want that. It's only $25. You got to start figuring out how to get there. Start trying to figure out how to get that $25. So, that's all for today on copywriting. Tomorrow, stay tuned for tomorrow, day 13 of the 90-day challenge, where we're going to talk more about the specifics of what to include in your sales writing copy. All right, this is D. Orlando Fortune telling you to keep it as simple as A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, and do, re, mi. Is all you really need to live your life in style. So just do what you gotta do.